Hey everyone, thanks for joining me as I rank all of the Flee the Facility legendary sets after the Halloween update. So a lot has changed, and this list is going to be based on rarity and demand, but this list is going to be a little bit different. This list is based on collecting, which means that the rarity of the hammers will override demand in some cases. And sets that are never coming back are ranked higher and more rare than those returning during Wendy's updates. Now, you might disagree with me on a few of the values, and that's totally okay. Just like the video and leave me a comment. Tell me what I got right and what you think that I got wrong. So let's get into it. Counting all the way down, I start off how I did in prior videos with number 33. VIP ban. Now we start off with the rarity collectible list with the VIP set since it is always available and anyone can get it at any time. And since it's able to be purchased for Robux, it makes it not as rare as far as availability, but you do have to have Robux or trade for it if you don't. Then at number 32, we have nuclear waste. And this first came into the game in July of 2021, and it is still around. And since it's still currently available and many people have these for trade, the hammer is pretty easily accessible. And you can get this now in the crates for a chance to land on it with 300 credits, and the toxic gem became much more available after the Halloween update too. Coming in at number 31, we have Toy Elf. This came out in 2019 and 2020, and it was 1,500 credits. Toy Elf isn't one of my favorites since it's a bit lower in demand and therefore you won't get a very big trade up, but it is technically more rare than the nuclear waste and VIP set since it isn't yet available again. And for the 30th spot, might make you wonder, but I'm putting it here because it was just recently available, and that's Dave Pumpkins. This came back as a 150 credit lottery for the Halloween event, and it first came out in 2019, 2020, and then just this month, so due to its recent availability, this one drops a little bit on the list. Moving on to number 29, Blue Nut. This was a 1,500 credit that came out in 2018 and 2019 and 2020, and so it's really likely that the set comes out every single Christmas, and I expect it to again. So it's going towards the bottom of the seasonal legendary list. I love Blue Nutcracker. I think it looks like a really great hammer, but with it being available every single December for the last 4 years, the rarity of the hammer is dropping significantly. And now on to number 28, that's gonna be Snowman. This was a 150 credit in the event only crate, and it came out in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. And similar to the Blue Nutcracker set, Snowman is coming out every single December for the last 4 years, so I bet that it will again this year. And that means that a lot of people have probably gotten it within that time, and the rarity of the set has gone way down. I love Snowman, but it isn't as high as a collectible now that it's so available. Number 27, we have Krampus Chimney. This came out in 2020 for 1,500 credits, and Krampus just came out last December, and because of that, the rarity of the hammer goes up, and I'm sure a lot of people got it when it was available, but it hasn't been available for that long, so the amount out there is still going to be pretty limited. And if it comes back this December, this will definitely move Krampus back down the list again. In the number 26 spot, there's Little Tree. This was a 150 credit event only crate, and it came out in 2020. Same as the one before, this time it came out in 2020, and therefore everyone hasn't been able to max out on this hammer during Christmas over and over. But if it comes out again during this Christmas event, this will definitely drop once more. So now this is the part of the list that's going to change quite a bit after the Halloween update. Coming in at number 25 is Coffin. This was a 150 credit in the event only crate starting Halloween of 2017 and has come out every single year. So this one is going to be behind all the other Halloween sets since the number out there is very, very high, and there's a strong possibility it continues to come out every single Halloween just as it always has. The next 3 spots are reserved for the Hunter series. So number 24 goes to Alchemist, and this one came out last year in 2020, and again this past month for 1,500 credits. And the Alchemist starts off our Hunter set series, but it is personal preference which one you like best, so I did it based on the demand that I've seen in the trading post, and they are all pretty equal in value and rarity. It's just a matter of which one you like. At number 23, we're gonna have Warlock. This also came out in 2020 and this past month for 1,500 credits. So the same with Alchemist, this hammer came out in Halloween and this is the most recent Halloween that it has been a big hit. It's got a cool design, cost a bunch of credits, and it's really easy to trade with. Last in the Hunter group at number 22 is the Witch Hunter. This came out last year and again this year for 1,500 credits, and this tops the list for the Hunter series for me. It's really a personal preference which one you like the most, but my pick for number 22 is going to be Witch Hunter. And then we have 21. It's another 150 crate pull with Blacklight Madness. So this set just came out this month, so it's much newer than most of the other Halloween sets. However, since it was a 150 crate pull, it's going to be a little lower than those sets that were 1,500 credits. It reminds me a lot of Dave Pumpkins, although it does look a bit better, and if it comes out again next year, it's going to drop on the list for sure. Number 20 will be Tombstone. This came out in 2019, 2020, and 21. That was for 1,500 credits. Because this hammer came out in 2019 and again and again and again, it drops on the value list just a bit because the expectation is that it's going to be here every single Halloween. Number 19 leaves Lightbone. This came out in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 21 for 1,500 credits. Lightbone is a tried and true hammer that comes out every Halloween since it's been around, and with the price tag of 1,500 credits, I say that this one fits nicely in the number 19 spot. Now we get into the anniversary release with number 18 being Mothership. This came out in 2020 and again in 2021 for 150 credits, but for a crate pull, meaning that you only had 5% chance, so it will take a lot of coins to pull this legendary set if you aren't super lucky. And because it's like gambling and a lucky spin gets you the Mothership instead of being able to buy it directly, it was a little harder to grab. However, since it came back this year, the value dipped a bit from where it was on the original list. The next hammer might surprise you at number 17. So Midnight Light was the newest 1,500 credit hammer, and this one definitely outranks the other Halloween credit hammers as well as Mothership. Now that the update is over, those who didn't get one are definitely going to want one. Next up would be number 16, the Dark Bone set. Now remember, I'm basing this off of rarity and collecting a bit more than demand. So since DB came out in 2018, 19, 20, 20, and this past year, this 650 Robux set drops quite a bit. It's definitely super in demand hammer, but it's not a rare hammer, meaning that this is coming out every single Halloween since Flee the Facility began. They're expensive at 650 Robux, but it is a really good looking hammer for sure. And we get closer to the top spot with number 15 going to Pumpkin Slice. Yep, surprise, surprise. It first came out in 2019 and a second time in 2020, but then it also came out again this Halloween. So for 650 Robux, everyone was able to grab one if they had the funds. And it's been out 3 times now, so that automatically moves it down on the rarity list. There's still a lot of demand for it, way more than say the Hunter series, so I think it's safe to stay here at number 15. For the number 14 spot, I'm putting Classic Set. So for this hammer has come back every single July since Flee started. It cost 650 Robux, and since it was available a few months back, the rarity dropped a bit, but it is now a bit higher than some of the other Halloween Robux sets. There was talk it would never come back, and then Wendy threw a curveball, but coupled with the fact that it's come out every single year, this seems to be a set that we might always be able to get every July. The catch though is that you have to have Robux for it, and that isn't always easy. So at number 13 we have Lucky Top Hat, which first came out in 2018 and a second time in 2020. The third time was in 2021, and this used to be one of the rarest sets, especially because it came out in 2018 and didn't come back in 2019, but it was just recently available for 650 Robux, which drops its value on both rarity and demand by just a little bit. It's still a great set, and if it doesn't come back again next year, it's going to shoot up in value for sure. Number 12 would be 4th anniversary. So this came out in July of 2021, and it's not as rare right now, but since it left it August 2nd, and as the year goes on, it will become much further up the list since this won't ever be available again. This hammer was available for 1,500 credits, which makes the rarity pretty slim, but by next year, it will be all the way up on this list near the other anniversary hammers. But for now, I'll still keep it in the 12th spot. The 11th most rare hammer is going to 2021. So this came out in December of 2020 for 1,500 credits, and this set is also one of our most valuable that will never return. Yes, 2021 is one of the newest of them all, except for the 4th anniversary hammer, but it's going to be a lot harder to get a 2021 set as time goes on. So if you're collecting and you want every hammer in the game, you better have one of these. And then we get into the rare Christmas sets, and this will change when we get our Christmas update. But for now, number 10 being Red Nutcracker. For 650 Robux, this came out in 2018, 2019, and 2020, and it's more than likely going to come out again this season. This hammer and gem is awesome. I love the gold and red colors, and I was surprised to learn that the hammer has been out every Christmas update, which drops the rarity of the hammer by a lot. But because few people have it, that brings the rarity up still, and I felt good about putting it in the 10 spot. Red Nutcracker is hard to trade for, and it's a really good hammer to have in your collection. And number 9 goes to Toy Santa, which came out in 2019 and 2020, and most likely will come out again, and that is for 650 Robux. With this hammer being out for 2 different updates, its rarity drops by just a bit, but the demand is definitely still there. So Toy Santa is a great looking hammer, and I love the gem that goes with it, and anyone who loves Christmas has to have this set. And that leaves number 8 for Santa Chimney. This came out in 2020 for 650 Robux, and this one was for the first time this past Christmas update, and therefore it's a higher rarity than Toy Santa that has been out for 2 different updates. And Santa Chimney is expensive with limited few people having it, but I think it's the rarest Christmas hammer there is, and I love it personally. I'm just gonna say it, a lot of people aren't gonna like my number 7 pick, but it isn't the most rare hammer, so number 7 goes to Spooky Brew. This came out in 2020, and again just a few weeks back, costing 650 Robux. And you might be shocked at this hammer landing in the 7th rare position, but here's my reason. It came back this Halloween. So knowing that, I simply can't put it into a higher slot when the other sets are never coming back. Any anniversary or year hammer is one and done. Once they're here and they leave, they won't return. So Spooky Brew can and will, apparently, be making an appearance every Halloween, and therefore the demand for the hammer is high, but the rarity level for the hammer is definitely under 2nd, 2019, 2020, billion, and all the others. This hammer is only 2 months older than 2021 set, and 2021 is never coming back. So why is Spooky so much more in demand? So trade for it, play with it, but do not trade something like a 2nd anniversary to get one. The newest Halloween credit hammer is edging out Spooky as more in demand and rarer at number 6, Phantom Light. This was designed by Wendy and has made a splash in the trading post for 650 Robux. People are trading Spooky plus ads for this set, so I definitely think it belongs here. It's newer and people aren't able to dupe this hammer as easily, so the number out there will be a lot less than any other Halloween hammer. Definitely trade a couple of Robux sets for this one if you plan on giving up yours. You should absolutely be getting a couple of Robux sets as well. Followed super closely by number 5 is 3rd Anniversary. This came out in July of 2020 for 1,500 credits. Now remember, when people would decline any trade with the 3rd Anniversary in the offer, well, that time is gone. With the 4th Anniversary out now, and us to have a 5th Anniversary at some point, 3rd Anniversary is rising in value and will keep going up. All anniversary and year hammers should be included in your inventory if you're planning on collecting them. As the years go on, these hammers get more and more valuable with fewer new fleet players having them in their inventory. Now we come to the section that will probably cause the most controversy, and that starts with the 4th spot going to 2020 set. This came out in the event crate for 150 credits in December of 2019, and most people don't understand the value of this hammer, but it is incredibly valuable from a collector's standpoint. This hammer came out once and won't ever be coming out again, and we're almost through 2021 now, so this hammer is going to shoot up in value, especially if we get another year hammer this Christmas update. Rounding out the top 3 is 1 billion set. So this one came out in September of 2019 for 1,500 credits. And you all probably know that this isn't a favorite set of mine, but it is rare and therefore it is really valuable. If you're looking to collect every set from the game, you cannot miss having a billion set in your inventory. They aren't ever coming back, and it came out just after the 2nd anniversary, just to give you an idea of how old it is in the game. So the second most valuable hammer is the 2019 set. This came out in December of 2018 for a 150 credit event, and this is the oldest set that will never be coming back in the entire game. This is by far the rarest legendary set in the game, but doesn't have as much demand as 2nd, so I moved it back down to the number 2 like I did on the original list. You should never ever trade this for anything less than 2 top 10 sets. Remember, this set will never come back, and once you have it, you are well on your way to having a full collection of hammers. And finally, the most valuable and rarest set in all of Flee the Facility, 2nd anniversary. For 650 Robux, it came out in July of 2019, and this is my favorite rare set in all of Flee the Facility, and I know so many people feel the same. I love 2nd anniversary, and I think it's the rarest hammer in the entire game because even though 2019 is older, 2nd is much harder to get. If you get one of these, you should only trade it for at least 2 sets that you absolutely love. And I would even recommend trading it for 3 if you aren't including one of the top 10 rare sets in the trade. You can do 3 hammers for a 2nd hammer, and then you can do 3 gems for a 2nd anniversary gem just to make sure that you don't get scammed. And that's my list. There are so many hammers and so much that goes into trading for them. So I hope that this was helpful and helps you make the right offer for your dream hammer. Don't forget to like this video if it was helpful, subscribe to my channel for more info, and leave me a comment on what you think about the value list and what you might change. Thanks so much, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye-bye then.